Hey, what's up guys, this is EZCubing, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the Rubik's Cube record that will never be broken again. Let's get into it.
I won't text you at all, ain't gotta worry about me. Now you spam me with calls, I guess you heard about me. You say don't text you when I'm drunk, but I don't drink. You don't know when you did enough, like you don't think.
Before we get into the video, make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe for some good luck. This is Sebastiano Tronto, and he currently holds the most impossible Rubik's Cube world record. The record he holds is the fewest moves possible to solve the Rubik's Cube in competition. He was able to solve the Rubik's Cube in exactly 16 moves, crushing the proud world record by approximately one move. So you're probably wondering, right, if he could break the old world record by one move, can he just break his own world record again by one move? But with that same logic, at what point does it end? Because if he could break his record by one move, he could do it again, and again, and again, and eventually he would solve the cube in one move. But we all know that's not possible. This actually brings up a really old math problem called Zeno's paradox. A quick explanation of this is, let's say I have to travel 10 feet to touch a table, right? Well, I for sure can travel 5 feet, which is half of 10, and I can travel half of 5, which is 2.5, and then half of 2.5, and then half of that distance, and then half of that distance. The problem is that no matter how close you get to touching the table, you will never actually touch it, because no matter how close you are, you still have half a distance to travel. And that right there is why this solve reminds me of the paradox. Because at what point can he not solve it in any less moves? And for me, I believe that number is 16. I just cannot see him solving it in 15 moves. Anyways, enough about the paradox, let's talk more about the solve. The record was broken in 2019 and is still held to this day. At this point, you're probably wondering, what is the fewest moves possible and how does it work? So let's explain it. So it's pretty self-explanatory, right? You get a scramble and you have to solve it in the fewest moves possible, and whoever solves it in the fewest moves wins the competition. So on the surface it seems pretty simple, but actually it is a lot more complicated than that. So let's go into all the specific rules on how this works, and let's see how it's done. Alright, so for the competition you are allowed 1, 2, or 3 Rubik's Cubes, a pen, and a piece of paper. And those are all things you can use in order to find the minimal amount of moves required to solve the cube. You also only get 60 minutes once you start. This is a group activity, so once you and all the other solvers are ready, the timer will be started. Whoever has the fewest moves after the 60 minutes wins the competition. What I find pretty crazy is that even when you rotate the cube in your hand, without actually turning the cube, that counts as a turn itself. So you have to be very, very precise in your turns, rotating, everything. So when you think about all these rules, and the fact that the record is 16 moves makes it even more impressive. One more thing to know is that you are only allowed 80 moves to solve it. Anything over 80 just counts as a DNF. So it has to be less than 80, and then from there on, it's the smallest amount of moves to win. Now most people are probably wondering what methods used to solve this, and it's definitely not CFOP, I'll tell you that. I solved with CFOP, and I actually counted my moves. I average around 55 to 65 moves for each one of my solves, and that's around 11 to 12 seconds when I do solve. So CFOP is not the method, and it's actually a completely different method that you probably never heard about. A really common advanced one is called E or 3 style, and the number of steps it takes to solve using these methods is 2. So the number of algorithms you have to learn to do this, for intuitive it takes anywhere from 0 to about 800, and then ones you can actually learn, there are 378 for the corners and over 440 for the edges. And after all those algorithms, you can then compete in the FMC, the fewest moves competition, if you want to be a competitor. If you don't know these algorithms and stuff like that, it is a lot harder. Like someone like me, trying to solve it in anything less than 40 moves would take me a super long time, and I would probably want to learn, E or 3-step in order to do this. Here's a quick video of me using CFOP to try and solve it in the least amount of moves. Alright guys, so to put this into perspective, I'm going to be doing a solve myself. And I average, around anywhere from like 10 to 12 seconds. I'm not averaging that right now, a little bit slower. But I'm a pretty advanced cuber, and definitely not like super advanced, not like a beginner, right? Not average, faster than average, so I'm pretty advanced. I'm definitely not a pro, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a solve here with CFOP. And I'm going to count how many moves it takes me normally to solve it. And then I'm going to compare it to how they use it to solve their scrambles. Alright, so I'm going to go move by move and just count out how many moves it takes me to solve this. And then I'll solve it again and see how fast the solve was. Also, we're gonna count double moves as one move, not two. So 1, 2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, and then 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, and 61.
So I would say I average anywhere from like 55 to 65 moves for me. And that gives me around, like a 10 to 12 second average, like I said. But the world record was solved in 16 moves for the fewest move world record. So it was extremely impressive what he did. There is also this thing called God's number, which basically means that no matter how you scramble the cube, any combination, you can at least solve it in 20 moves or less. So the maximum amount of moves it could take to solve a scramble is 20, and then it could be optimized even less than 20. So for example, the record here, which was 16 moves, that was a scramble that was optimized, not using God's number, but was optimized better than God's number, potentially. Here's a cool little stat I found online. I'm not sure if it's accurate, but I think it is. But basically, if you could solve any scramble perfectly and efficiently, you would still only have a 1 in a 473 chance of breaking the record on any given attempt, as only 1 in 473 scrambles has an optimal solution shorter than 16 moves. So the fact that in competition, he was able to solve it in 16 moves means that it was like a 1 in 473 chance of it being a scramble that could do it. And then the odds of him finding out that that it was a scramble like that and using an optimal way of solving it just makes it even more impressive. And that is the reason right there why I believe that this record will never be broken again. The odds are just so stacked against anyone who does FMC. And the fact that they got it down to 16 moves makes it hard for me to believe that someone could do it in 15. Because that would be what was needed to break the record. Anyways, guys, as always, make sure to like the video, subscribe, have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.